Why the hell are there so many fishing minigames? Oh, I hate fishing minigames.
Let me ask you a question. What links Stardew Valley, Red Dead Redemption, Final Fantasy, every Legend of Zelda game, and Resident Evil 4?
Sonic Frontiers.
It's a pretty, eclectic list, but bizarrely, all of them share one thing in common, and it is fishing. Yeah, it's something you may have noticed before, but a weird number of video games contain optional, or in some cases mandatory, fishing minigames, few of which have anything at all to do with the main story or the core gameplay systems. It is bizarre. Look at Final Fantasy 15, for example. This is a game that had massive...
It's filler.
Loads of content chopped out, and quite a few systems like Magic that are pretty underdeveloped, but for some reason, the devs thought it really important to include a quite frankly comprehensive fishing minigame where you can level up stats, there's a bunch of fishing-specific gear and quests, and even a fish boss fight.
I think it's easy to it's easy to program into a game, which doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take a lot of effort, and it's a quick way to like introduce a little bit more of a grind in the game to like acquire some things that you would normally have to like put way more effort in to get. I think that's more the reason why they have fishing minigames. Unless it's a game like what's his face? Animal Crossing or something, or like Stardew Valley, you know, a game really about like exploring, or like literally slice of life anime pretty much, right?
None of which really has any impact on the main game at all. Over in Western developed games, you've got stuff like Warframe, which is normally a high-octane game of jumping around and plowing through hordes of enemies, but when it came to release the game's premiere open-world update, fishing, which is a static, low-energy, and decidedly non-combat focused activity, was front and center as one of the big features. Why? Fishing minigames are weird. Not only are they literally everywhere, but for some reason they're often more interesting as side content than they are as the main.
Oh, the Sonic. Oh, the Sonic 1. Oh no. Oh no. Don't bring back that trauma, bro. Oh, that was the worst
Focus of a game.
This is why I never actually beat Big the Cat stories. I just stopped doing it.
They're not so much fun as they are just really nice to screw around with during moments of downtime or to cap off a play session, but never when they occupy the spotlight. Compare how relentlessly zen-like fishing is in Animal Crossing to much more developed angling in something like Ultimate Fishing Simulator, which I found almost as dull as the real thing.
Just go fishing in real life. What are you playing a fishing simulator for? Now, I do gotta say, like, I play a game called Power Wash Simulator, alright? I've got 35.1 hours in this game, alright? Don't judge me. This is therapeutic as alright? So I'm not really able to judge, but at least it's more enjoyable than fishing. Alright?
So, what's going on here? Why are fishing minigames everywhere, and what makes them such weirdly entertaining and relaxing distractions? Well, I think the very fact that fishing is more engaging when it's not the focus of a game clues us into the fact that it and other similar diversions are more than simple throwaway padding the developers stick into a game when they've run out of ideas. In fact, they've been invisibly solving a big problem in games for years, and that is habituation. Now, habituation is a big fancy biology word.
Yeah, I would like an explanation for that word, because I have never heard of that word before.
For when an organism gradually responds less and less to a given stimulus. You can see this on those fern plants that curl up, or snails retracting into their shells when you give them a prod. Do it enough times, and they'll gradually stop reacting. The same thing happens.
It's a cleanse. It's a mental cleanse. I get it. It's like, call it. It's like a cleanse. No, not a cleanse. What is it called? You have like these diets that like flush out your system. Fuck, I don't remember. But it's like that for your brain.
When you say a word so many times that it starts sounding weird, which probably happened with the word fishing earlier. In a gaming context, habituation is that weird feeling you get when you've been fighting baddies for ages, or solving a bunch of puzzles in a row, and it just sort of becomes difficult to care. Your victories don't seem to give you the same endorphin rush anymore, and each setback seems to be a bigger and bigger excuse to go and do something else.
Correct.
It's not boring per se, the gameplay hasn't gotten worse, it's just difficult to get invested anymore.
Yeah, your mental battery just running out. Your excitement for the game has decreased, and your dopamine levels have also decreased, which makes you realize what you're actually doing and just realize that, well, I could do something else that I like more at this point.
In other words, the stimulus hasn't changed, your neurons are just exhausted and need time to recover. Particularly in high-intensity games that demand a lot of focus and result in big emotional high points, we often can't play them for very long at all without this phenomenon of habituation and diminishing returns kicking in. Look at Doom 2016. I absolutely love the game, and it was critically acclaimed for a reason. However, a lot of people never finished it despite really liking it, and that's because this singular focus actually ends up being a negative. After a few hours of playing Doom and luxuriating in the feeling of tearing demons apart with your bare hands, eventually you kind of feel worn out, because it's difficult to maintain that state of mind for a long time, and so it's much harder for the game to elicit the same thrilling response from players as it could when everything was still fresh. It's not that the game's gotten less fun or the level design's gotten any worse, you're just less receptive to what Doom has to offer because you're mentally drained, and thus the game begins to lose your attention and engagement where previously you were glued to the screen. The same goes for almost any game that keeps you in a single, intense state of mind for long periods. They can be great fun, but also extremely exhausting. After playing just a couple of games of Dota or completely failing to optimize a single Zachtronics puzzle, my brain is usually pretty fried, and I want to stop playing and take a bit of a break. The problem is, of course, that not only does this mean not playing the game anymore, which most developers would rather you keep doing, but your last association with the game is of exhaustion and reluctance to play anymore, rather than a desire to jump back in. So what does fishing have to do with any of this? Well, fishing minigames are just one of a collection of side quests, optional content, and seemingly pointless activities that I'm gonna
That Chow Garden, that's the best cleanse. Yep, I agree.
Collectively referred to as diversions, and they actually serve a crucial role in avoiding this habituation-induced burnout that plagues so many otherwise great games. They do this by getting you to think and play in a completely different way for a little bit, giving your brain time to recharge and for the neurons in charge of particular kinds of thought processes to dehabituate. Look at like Triple Triad, Chocobo Racing, the weird squatting minigame, or yes, fishing from various Final Fantasy games. Do they have anything to actually do with saving the world or battling or anything? No, they don't.
No.
But that's also kind of the point. They briefly turn the classic tactical thought processes of Final Fantasy into nice, simple, push-your-luck gameplay or fast-paced tests of reaction speed. You're able to enjoy these diversions much more because you've not been engaging with this style of play for a while, and in the process, you give the more intellectual parts of your brain a nice break. In fact, Blitzball from Final Fantasy X is often derided as being boring, not because it's too simple or because it's unbalanced, it's actually pretty fun. It's just too similar to regular JRPG gameplay and so feels like a bit of an unsatisfying slog. I found that the most effective diversions are the ones that are the furthest removed from the main body of the game, and thus result in the biggest change in your thought process. Look at the minigames in Yakuza, for example. They've got you racing slot cars, managing clubs, or even doing karaoke. They're completely different genres and gameplay styles from the main game, and so function as a great break. Similarly, stuff like bonfires in a Souls game, or Hollow Knight's benches, are an underpraised element of the design of these games. They're a completely safe area where you get to fiddle around with your gear, plan your route, and just chill out for a bit with zero threat of getting chomped. These rest points give you a chance to cool down and
Yeah, that's my problem with a lot of like survival games. Like you never know when you are constantly in like a anxiety stress level, right? You're constantly in like a certain like anxiety/stress level while doing stuff, because you know that at any moment a monster can like get you from behind or anything like that, right? Unless you like in Minecraft you can build something around you and you make stuff safe areas, but like some survival like horror games, like you never know when you're safe, right? So it's like constant anxiety, constant stress, which is part of the game and it's part of the excitement, right? But eventually you get burned out by it. It's like with Dying Light. Like they purposely made the night so incredibly terrifying so that you wouldn't get burned out by the game when the night goes away. then at daytime you can do your stuff. You know, collect stuff, do side quests, maybe battle another couple zombies here and there. But you know, at night, that is really where the game actually is. That's where the game shines, right? So yeah, it's definitely a really good design for games. Like, they know their player, they know how their mental state works, and they know how well, neurologically humans evolved. So it's actually quite interesting that a lot of games unconsciously just do these things, because I highly doubt that there's people in these like studios that are like neuroscientists and like, oh, we should do this because neurologically this is satisfying for the game, for the brain. Like, no, they just go off their own like what you call it, own like experience in like past games they played in like back in the day, but which had like the same kind of features that they enjoyed, so they put it in the game. I 100% believe that.
Catch your breath, breaking up what would otherwise be wall-to-wall death and stress. It's also worth mentioning the more strategic Across the Obelisk, which is a card-based roguelike, which fixes the problem of you gradually getting overwhelmed with all the cards being thrown at your face and losing track of what's actually in your deck by having dedicated
Is that their piece?
more strategic Across the Obelisk, which is a card-based roguelike, which
God damn, bro. That there got titties.
which fixes the problem of you gradually getting overwhelmed with all the cards being thrown at your face and losing track of what's actually in your deck by having dedicated rest spots between chapters for you to tinker with your deck, your equipment, and your overall strategy. It's something I had no idea I was missing until I played it. Think of fishing and its associated diversions like a secondary gameplay loop that players can use to relax and de-stress between goes around a game's regular loop. Stardew Valley is a great example here. The game isn't the most high-octane thing out there, but it can get pretty taxing juggling your stamina, your farm's chores, completing quests, and fulfilling season-dependent objectives, meaning you'll spend most of your time frantically running from place to place as fast as you can, doing mental bookkeeping to make sure you can seduce Maru while still having time to water your cabbages. However,
it doesn't sound great at all. I don't like a game that has time management, which also is supposed to be a relaxing game. You know how stressful time management is? Nah, I'd rather play something like Power Wash Simulator. Not gonna lie.
in spite of this, Stardew remains eminently playable for long periods, and that's because it makes sure to always give you moments of downtime where you can not think about optimizing your farm for a few minutes. Stuff like fishing, foraging, and dungeoneering can be done basically whenever, and aren't part of your usual daily chores, allowing them to easily fit into the start or end of your day if you have the energy or time spare, nicely bookending each in-game day with something fresh and fun. One thing to note though, is that all this work is for nothing if games don't actually encourage people to engage with these diversions. Because ultimately, players will always be efficiently minded and will ruin their brains if it means optimal gameplay.
Yep.
So, that's why Final Fantasy loves to incentivize this stuff by giving players a little sample of each minigame as part of the main quest, and why Stardew's Community Center outright requires dipping into side activities every now and again. But my favourite way of encouraging players to take a break can actually be found in Sonic Adventure 2. Bear with me here. Sonic Adventure 2's take on the break gameplay loop is the
I mean, I don't think you have to have a break in like level driven games. When games are like made in like levels, it's way easier to stop playing the game because, well, you beat the level, like, you know, I'm good, and I'll stop, right? But you can play those games so long, unless you're really sucking at the game and just keep dying over and over. But nowadays, every modern game barely has any life points anyway, so even just beating the level is not even an achievement anymore. But I digress. So I don't know. I never really understood people that get like burned out on like level-based games outside of maybe like getting tired or just stop liking the game, like playing the game. But Adventure 2 does have like little explorations, like a hub rule and all that. So it's also a little bit of like a cleanse and break, you know, from all the levels and the excitement and the speed and all that.
the Chow Garden, not to be confused with a patron of the same name. Basically, you will collect animals and bits of robots just through playing, and you won't really know what they do until you find your way to the Chow Garden, whereupon you'll meet these fellas, the Chow, who can be fed animals to level them up, customize how they look, and improve their performance in dumb events like racing and boxing. This stuff has zero effect on the actual game, but Sonic Adventure plays a psychological trick on you where all the rewards for good gameplay in the real game, rings, animals, these boxes, etc., are all only useful in the Chow Garden, so you feel like you're wasting them if you don't head to it between missions to play around with Bingus, Bongus, and all their friends for a bit. Playing the game well and putting more effort in gives you more incentive to take a well-deserved break, and you have to consciously choose to be inefficient, encouraging you to relax for a bit and prepare yourself before the game throws another Knuckles level at you.
Yeah. Feels like so good to hold a screen to put it on 2x speed to speed up cringe jokes or something. Yeah, I don't know. I only use 2x speed YouTube videos whenever I'm watching a tutorial. Because nowadays tutorials are so fucking ridiculous, bro. Like last time I was looking into like some tutorial on like a program that can like change your voice. I thought maybe I could like do a little bit of a voice changer for the streams. Maybe I thought maybe it would be funny. But all this is paid, and I ain't gonna try to like pay for that. Anyway, regardless, so I looked up a tutorial to like look up to see how some one of those programs worked. Guess what he started with? Well, guys, you open your computer and you go to your Chrome or any other Internet Explorer, and then you type into Google the name of this program. Then you click on the web. Like, holy bro, I know how to install a goddamn program, bro. I'm already in the program. I'm here for a tutorial on how to use the program, not how to use a computer. Holy shit, bro. There's literally people that stupid that they need a tutorial to how to use a computer. You're not supposed to be looking up these kind of tutorials if you don't even know how half of your computer works. I get so frustrated. So anyway, I skip like 80% of the tutorials always, like before it actually starts, because most of the time it's all that bunch of bullshit that starts, you know. First you need to assemble a PC. But what if I got a laptop? Guess I can't watch the tutorial now. That's how stupid people are, man. It's actually insane. Like, from my generation, I am officially Gen Z, but I'm like a little bit too old to be like the younger Gen Z, if that makes sense. Like, I'm from 1999, so I'm still Gen Z because that's like from 1996 to like 2000 whatever. And my generation, right, or my like age group was really efficient in technology. But I feel like the generation after Gen Z is so clueless about technology because everything is so efficient nowadays. Everything, all the computers do whatever you want. With like, you just have to speak to them and they do whatever, so they don't even know how to open a zip document. A zip document. Anyway, that's irrelevant. But I just want to get my frustration out of that. How did I get to like that? Oh yeah, the 2x speed. Yeah. So yeah, I only do it on like tutorials.
Equally, open-worldy games, which need a larger number of less developed diversions for you to stumble across through play, still need to sprinkle in some sort of incentive for you to spend time doing them. Dungeons in Elden Ring always contain some sort of useful item, even if it's not for your build, so it's usually worth the gamble. Korok seeds are just useful enough to be worth spending 30 seconds to get, and Bethesda always like to put a universally useful resource at the end of random dungeons.
I mean, that's basic game design, isn't it? At least that's how I play games. I always go the opposite way of the game that the game wants me to go, because I want to explore and find things that most people won't even find, you know?
Like a new Dragon Word or a fusion core for your power suit. Alternatively, if a game fails to incentivize players to engage with diversions, then they're not able to do their job, and the main gameplay loop will suffer as a result. In Sonic Adventure 1, the Chow Garden is really hard to find, and you don't get teleported there automatically at the end of a mission. so most people don't bother and end up burning out.
A chow garden is really hard to find? You take the train, and you go to that island, and you go in a cave, and there it is! Come on, bruh. If you can't find the chow garden, you shouldn't be playing games at all. Like, holy shit.
This is also an issue in many MMOs when it comes to crafting. Oftentimes, just due to the fact that getting to max level is so important, non-combat crafting and gathering systems that you're supposed to level in parallel to your main class end up getting sidelined because they don't provide any useful items or gear that isn't superseded by stuff you'd get through regular gameplay. What this means...
I agree with that, yeah. Having to, like, get out of, like, my grinding space, I have this with Wuthering Waves, man. Like, I have to purposely do those stupid levels to level up my weapons, my characters, and my traces. Like, I really don't want to do this. I just want to go around in the game, beat a bunch of echoes, hopefully get lucky, and collect, like, chests that I still need to collect, and then be on my way. But no, you can't find these materials in the open world. You have to do these stupid events that cost stamina. Like, oh, I hate it. Actually hate it. That's why I just don't grind the game at all. I hate that doing that shit.
Is that you feel no incentive to use these crafting systems to take a break from combat, making that more of a grind, and when you do get around to leveling crafting, you end up doing it all in one go, which is incredibly boring because it can't support a game on its own. As you may have guessed or found out for yourself, this problem of habituation is hard to avoid, and that's why fishing minigames seem to be everywhere. They're just one example of a way for players to take a break and do something else for a while, with fishing in particular offering a unique combination of randomness and reflex testing that's a lot of fun in small doses and fits into a lot of different settings because water's sort of all over the place. However, one size doesn't fit all. You can't just stick a fishing minigame in something and expect it to successfully de-stress and revitalize players. A diversion needs to work in tandem with the game's primary gameplay loop, or people will either ignore it, or worse, just get sick of it. This is something that's incredibly important for particularly intense games that are going to leave you mentally drained very quickly. Many such more strategic or hardcore games actually expand out a diversionary break section until it's almost a complete gameplay loop in its own right. Cult of the Lamb is excellent here. Taken on its pure gameplay merits, both Cult of the Lamb's management and roguelike dungeoneering sides would quickly get frustrating and repetitive because they're fairly shallow. However, both halves of the game flow together so well that it remains incredibly compelling regardless. So basically the way the game works is that you've got a little cult of cute animal goons to manage who love nothing more than pooping all over themselves. However, in order to fulfill your ultimate goal of killing all the bosses, you need these cultists to worship you because that's how you increase the strength of your combat abilities. And the happier your cultists are, the more worship they give you. What this means is that you're caught in this push and pull cycle of adventuring into the dungeon to get resources or recruit new members of your flock, spending them back at base, before being made to adventure back into the dungeon with some new abilities to build the next upgrade or fix some problem that's developed. Need to build a shrine to take in tithes from your minions? Go grab the resources to build one. Sacrifice too many cult members because they were getting old? Go and recruit some replacements. People getting hungry? Well, it's time to go and harvest the flesh of your enemies to go and have a big feast. It's almost like a perpetual motion machine of gameplay, where the moment you've made one advancement, the game presents you with some more things to put on your to-do list that will make your cult more efficient and gives you some new fun upgrade to go.
It's like Clash of Clans. I'm sorry, bro, but this is literally just Clash of Clans. Outside of having improved gameplay and like a different style of fighting, it's literally just Clash of Clans. But roguelike, yeah, man. Roguelike Clash of Clans, nice.
Go and do it with. As a result, the game develops this great sense of rhythm that smooths out a lot of the rougher edges, like the fact that my cultists won't stop crapping everywhere. I'd also be remiss not to mention XCOM, which does the same sort of thing. The meat of the game is in the tactical combat, but it is stressful watching your dudes get murdered by aliens, and so the management layer offers an extended period where your decisions aren't quite as immediately life and death. In addition, this split between micro and macro gameplay loops helps your decisions feel like they matter, where squad promotions and deaths have an immediate effect on the management layer, and new developments on the global stage give the tactical side some context that stops it feeling like an endless meat grinder. On the flip side, games with a pronounced narrative focus can use shorter, more irregular regular bursts of downtime to help players transition between various gameplay states while also getting across exposition when the player is going to be most receptive. And nobody likes sitting through big uninteractive cutscenes because paying attention to them for hours on end can get exhausting no matter how clever Hideo Kojima thinks he is. But equally, it's hard to convey a cohesive, well-paced narrative purely through gameplay and world.
Cap, there's a lot of games out there that have no spoken lore or plot whatsoever, and they are fantastic. Speaking of Sekiro, I guess there is a little bit of talking Sekiro, but like not a lot. What else? Let me think. Oh, I'm always bad at thinking of something on the spot. There's like this game. Damn it, I forgot. Unspoken lore game. I'm just gonna Google it. I know them, but I just can't think of them right now. Unspoken lore games. Oh, that's not okay. That's not really okay. Games without vocal lore. Yeah. Oh, yeah, here it is. No, it has talking. Damn it, never mind. I know they are, but I just can't think of any right now.
World design. That's why some of the best story-focused games work on establishing natural feeling gaps where character stuff and plot progression can.
He said it's hard to do? No, he didn't. Wait, did he? Hold on, am I stupid? I might be stupid, hold on.
Nobody likes sitting through big, uninteractive cutscenes because paying attention to them for hours on end can get exhausting no matter how clever Hideo Kojima thinks he is. But equally, it's hard to convey a cohesive, well-paced narrative purely through gameplay and world design.
Ah. You're right. I bet.
That's why some of the best story-focused games work on establishing natural feeling gaps where character stuff and plot progression can happen between lulls in sections of gameplay, rather than story stuff competing for the player's attention or ripping them away from the fun stuff. If you look at basically every Sony cinematic action-adventure game like God of War, you'll notice that they always
I still want to play that game someday, bro. Maybe after Sekiro, who knows?
Follow an almost episodic structure, where a narrative beat will immediately follow a boss fight or an intense gameplay segment before leading into a low-key warm-up to start the cycle again.
Or you get stuck in a puzzle. Why do they always think it's fun to make these stupid-ass puzzles in these games, man? Like, it's literally about fighting and the lore. I don't care about your stupid puzzles. You can make the puzzles, I'm okay with that. Just give me a skip button, bro. Like, these puzzles, I really don't give a shit about puzzles, man. Especially if I get stuck on them. That just pisses me off more.
Midway through the Light of Alfheim quest, for example, where you're faced with this gauntlet of enemies in the hive, the game could jump straight into the tutorial for your newly acquired light arrows, but going from high to low stakes so fast could give you a bit of whiplash, so the game sprinkles in a bit of backstory to ease that transition, whilst also giving your hands a break. Many games make the mistake of assuming that it's always more efficient to deliver gameplay and story at the same time, but in actuality, it can often do more harm than good. Stuff like audio logs or in-universe notes sprinkled throughout.
Hey, I know this game. Still need to continue it. I still need to continue it. One day.
Our level can be very thematic, but they also mean that you're stewing on story stuff and doing gameplay basically all the time, meaning your poor old brain will eventually just decide to stop paying attention to one or the other, which usually means you're not taking in the story, even if you think you are. I think the best use of story as a diversion, however, can be seen in Hades, which is a very narratively oriented game, but it saves all of the new story development.
Hades is boring as f***. I'm gonna say it. Hades is boring as f***. I unlocked all the weapons. None of them actually feel satisfying. Like, none of them actually makes you feel powerful whatsoever. And I know a roguelike isn't supposed to make you like gods, right? But I would expect if I buy a new weapon, right? That I am stronger. That I do more damage. Not, oh, now you have a different strategy to use against the monsters you couldn't beat before. Great! Super terrific. Skill issue probably, yes, 100%.
Developments for when you're most likely to stop playing. Hades' main roguelike gameplay loop doesn't really contain much of any substantial narrative content, because the game is saving it for when you invariably die and return home. When you do, all that frustration at having failed immediately evaporates as you get to dive into a bunch of fun character moments, some backstory, and get a stern talking to from your sexy dad. This is enough of a change of pace.
Do be sexy though. Yeah, this is what I mean, bro. Look at all these. I got all these weapons, bro. All these weapons. Wait. Those are not the weapons I have. Where is it? Oh, no, wait. No, wait. This is the sword. This is the spear. This is the shield. This is the bow. This is the glove. Okay, I don't have these two. But I got this one, and this one. Wait, it's not a sword. There's not an item. I have four of these weapons. None of them are better than the normal fire, the flame. Maybe the spear a little bit, because there's more range. But no. What's my favorite roguelike? Oh, let me see. I might just go to Steam actually. Let me see. Yeah, I can't really find any. I'm sure I played a lot of them, but why's the chat look so weird? Hold on. Why don't your name shows up fully? That's weird. Never thought to bring this up, but why don't we do the Binding of Isaac at some point as a game? It might be fun to play, but it's not fun to watch for a stream. Because at the start it's all new, but in the end of the day, after a while, it's just gonna blend in, and I don't have anything like interesting to say or anything like that. And I'm just playing the game at that point, and just watching me play the game. It's just not really interactive enough, in my opinion. Alright, continue.
But once you're done doing story stuff, the prospect of another run doesn't seem anywhere near as daunting. Compare that to Returnal, another equally story-based roguelike, which unceremoniously dumps you right back at the start of a multi-hour run whenever you die, with no downtime, something that couldn't possibly be more disheartening and meant I often quit immediately after dying. Ultimately, I think all of the problems and solutions when it comes to habituation and diversions end up coming down to the fundamental human need for novelty. Whether you're extremely fickle or one of those degenerate psychos who enjoy grinding, we need a changing context or emotional state every now and again to stop what we're doing from eventually just feeling sort of pointless. Because the more time we spend doing just one thing, the more that invisible threshold of what's fun rises and rises.
Oh, is that what is this? What's this game called again? Dishonored or something? But yeah, there's no reason why a game can't make grinding fun. You know? Like, you can't, how can you, like, something really simple, right? I'm gonna take, Wuthering Waves, for example, again. Whenever you create echoes, right? You spend 5 echoes to create a new one, right? Sometimes there, one extra drops. That's already enough. That's already way better than just hoping to God you get a new one that you actually want, that's actually good, that's actually the type you want, and all that. And then you get an extra one on the side. Like, not always, but sometimes. So, like, it makes grinding less irritating. Crafting, however, is not the same. You don't get extra in crafting, and that sucks. I think that sucks. Because I've grinded a little bit yesterday. I leveled up my characters to like level 70. Now, every character is now level 70. And the traits are almost maxed out now. But that grind is so boring because you have to go do that thing. Do the level to grind the materials. Then you have to teleport back to the synthesizer wall. Then you have to synthesize, aka craft, your materials. And then you just realize, oh shit, I still need 2. So you gotta go teleport back to the event, beat the event, go back to the synthesize table again, and then you have to synthesize the materials again to use them. Like, that's really repetitive and boring and annoying grind. And I hope they fix that. I hope we can synthesize in the future just from our spot. Because I hate going to a specific place to do a specific activity that I have to do a lot of times in a row because I'm stupid and I don't remember how many things I need. Anyway.
As our brain literally wears itself out. This need for novelty does bring in some danger though. Stuff like side quests, mini games, or just the occasional change of pace can do wonders for our sense of enthusiasm. Just look at how attached people are to Triple Triad, Chow Gardens, and the
Adam? What's this? Why are you showing me Honey Pop 2? What's this? Huh? Hold on. Why are you showing me this game? What's up with that?
Visual novel portions of Honey Pop. However, unethical developers looking to fleece you of some cash can also bait you into spending money by abusing the importance of these mechanisms. Remember when I said that part of what makes fishing such an effective diversion is the fact that it's a bit random? Well, loot boxes, gacha mechanics, and whatever's going on in Diablo Immortal work on the same principle.
Yes, and I love gambling, bro. I love it. As long as I don't use my real money.
After all, why spend a bunch of time grinding the same boring content that stopped being fun ages ago when you can briefly get the excitement of some flashy gambling, followed by the fun of playing around with your new acquisition? This stuff isn't just paying to save time, it literally preys on your sense of boredom. And I think this is all too easy
I mean, you're playing Genshin there, so that makes sense, because Genshin is awful.
Trap to fall into, even outside the realm of sketchy free-to-play games. Often in games, we tend to get so fixated on a single goal or on optimal play that we end up punishing our brains and souring on an experience that we once loved. I've burned myself out on...
Is that real? You really have to, like... Wow. You really have to, like, use a pickaxe that long on one rock. That's insane.
Countless games trying to power through loads of optional content I was supposed to do piecemeal or by grinding monotonously in an effort to rush ahead. And when you actually stop and think about it, doing this is kind of pointless, right? The ultimate purpose of a game is to give ourselves a worthwhile experience, so why cheat ourselves out of that simply for a few extra experience points or to save a bit of time if we're gonna get tired and stop playing anyway? That's
we're not gonna get tired and stop anyway because we are game addicts. We are gamers, alright? We love games. We can play games for like 8 hours straight if we want to. Unless the game sucks.
That's why I think it's so important to highlight and dissect these unsung heroes of game design. Silly little things like fishing minigames might not make the thumbnail of a successful YouTube video, but I think that they're the secret to getting the most possible satisfaction out of a game. All that's required is enough self-awareness to notice when we've stopped playing for fun and started playing out of obligation, and to go and chill out and give our brain a rest when it does. And who knows? Some of those smaller, less intense and more out-of-the-way parts of games can also be some of the most meaningful, and we'll never be able to appreciate them if we're running ourselves ragged sprinting to the finish line. I've put hours and hours into RuneScape fishing, knowing full well that it's an artificial, boring grind, and I wouldn't sacrifice my mountain of lobbies for anything. I have substantially more fond memories of messing around with my Chow than I do with the main meat of Sonic Adventure, and sometimes, the best parts of games can only be found by turning off all the map markers and objectives, really slowing down, and just looking around at all the tiny details and texture of a world that you've been taking for granted this whole time. So, when you next...
Oh, nah, I would never do that, bro. I would get lost so hard. That would be insane. That would ruin my game experience because I would get lost like I'm Zorro, and then I just don't know where to go, and then I end up back into a place where I just left from. Like, nah, I'll never get rid of like map or checkpoints or bookmarks or whatever, bro. Because if I do, I'm gonna get lost. I'm gonna get frustrated and just quit the game.
Find yourself getting into that weird state of mind where a game you're really enjoying just can't quite seem to scratch the itch anymore, don't freak out, and definitely don't try to power through anyway. Just stop, take a second, and wonder if there's maybe some silly side quest you could be doing, or if there's a lake out there that needs some fishing.
I've never had that thought. Side quests have always been, oh, if I don't do these, I lose, or I don't lose. I miss out on like certain XP or like certain like items or certain like stuff. Side quests have always been like a afterthought, like, oh, now I need to do these because otherwise they're gonna be on my map and I'm gonna be frustrated because they're still on my map. And then it's gonna just build up more and more and more the further I go into the story. Like I hate side quests. I genuinely hate side quests because they so annoying. And I know I have to do them, right? Not because the game tells me. No, it's because I tell myself that I have to do them. Because guess what? What if this side quest has something really fun or has something really valuable and I don't do it and I miss out on it? Also, I want to complete a game, so I had no choice. I have to do the side quest, because if I don't do the side quest, I haven't beaten the game. Like, oh, just get rid of side quests, man. Holy shit. I hate them. They suck. Alright? Nobody likes side quests. I refuse to believe people actually like side quests.
I promise you that you will have more fun in the long run if you just take a step back and maybe give...
Yeah, but the brain can trick you to think it's not fun because it's exhausting. Maybe start having fun. What? Maybe start having it. Oh. I don't know. I disagree. I've ran into this problem a lot. Since I started streaming. Streaming a game is exhausting. But playing a game, never had a problem with it. It's always I stop playing the game because I get bored because the game is boring. It's never because, oh, I'm so tired. I can't go on with this game. I'm so tired, but I need to play more. Like, no, I've never had that in my life. Ever. Always like, oh, I'm bored, or oh, I'm hungry, oh, or I need to go do something, or oh, shit, I actually am an adult and I have responsibilities I have to take care of, like 2 cats. Like, you know? Stuff like that. But no, I've never been like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, it's not like, it's more like, oh, shit, it's already 3 p.m. Well, might as well go to bed, you know? It's like more like, oh, I need to take care of myself. Outside, more like, yeah, obligation to myself or like others. Not really because I'm tired. That's never really the case, at least for me. As a point of the video, the gamer instinct, yeah, correct.
Give one of those diversions a try. Of course, you could also quit the video game and go and do something productive with your life, but who am I kidding?
Exactly, you still got laundry in your bedroom. The head needs to be folded, right? I know you do. I know you do. Or like you have to like, you know, gotta change those sheets on your bed, man. Or do the laundry. You know? Fill the dishwasher. Like, I know all those chores are still waiting for you to do it, bro. Just do them. Go do them. Because the moment you think, oh, you know what? I'll do it like in 10 minutes. At 10 minutes become 15 minutes. At 15 minutes become 20 minutes. Those 20 minutes become 30 minutes. Those 30 minutes become an hour. An hour is half an hour. And 2 hours, 3 hours, 4.5 hours. And oh, guess what? You gotta go to bed. Just do them. The first thing in the morning. First thing you do when you wake up. First thing you have time for. That should be your first thing you do. My morning routine is, what are my chores that I gotta do? Or not chores. Responsibilities in the house. What do I gotta do? Alright, give fresh water to the cats. Give them food. Clean their litter box. Alright, then, do I have to clean out the dishwasher, or do I have to like put stuff in, or do I have to turn it on? Do I have laundry that I need to do? Do I need to eat? Yeah, I probably need to eat because breakfast is important, right? I definitely need my morning coffee, that's for sure, because I'm triply addicted to caffeine. And then after all that, I sit down, sip my cup of coffee, and scroll Twitter for the most recent drama that I probably don't give a shit about. Yeah, do your chores.
We both know that's a lost cause. Hey, and welcome to the end of the video segment. I keep making long videos and they always keep taking ages to make. What's the deal with that, eh? Anyway, why am I still talking to you? Well, that's because in this, the after the video segment, I have several important messages to give you. The first of which is a recommendation of a cool internet person that I really think you should be paying attention to. And this time, I'd like to point you in the direction of Pixel a Day. Pixel a Day is a fantastic YouTube channel that I was honestly amazed to find only has 6,000 subs. It's an incredibly tightly put together collection of videos, all focusing on the philosophical and abstract side of games, dealing with how the themes of self-actualization and rebirth are covered in games, to the invisible control that self-constructed narratives have on our lives. And there's even a video on mystery and hostile worlds, which is like the one I just did, but better. Also, Pixel a Day is a fellow fan of pointless, stupid jokes and Easter eggs, so she's automatically in my good books by virtue of that alone. Please do give her channel a look. Next, I'd like to point out a group of people who are debatably even cooler, and they are my wonderful patrons. Each and every month, my awesome patrons support the channel with their hard-earned cash, and in doing so, they earn behind-the-scenes stuff, early access to videos, bonus content, and, as of recently, some special shoutouts.
Might be me, but I think people that have a Patreon, like, I get it, right? You wanna, earn some more money. I get it. Everyone needs money. I totally get it. But I feel like, I don't know, man. It's just, they have behind the scenes stuff or whatever. Like, they only get that because you made them able to get it. Because before that, you wouldn't be doing that. Like, you're just giving yourself more work. I would never do that. I would never do that, bro. I tried. I said, yo, if you become a member to my YouTube channel, which is still obviously still a thing, you can become a member. That's totally valid still. And then I'll just do whatever, right? Ask me whatever you want and I'll do it. And I was also gonna plan on like releasing, because YouTube has like this new stuff, or maybe but YouTube has like, it's not really new, but like it's new-ish. But like YouTube has like this stuff about where there's like a video, let's say there's a video that I haven't this video I've already uploaded, different version. Like you have a schedule and you have like 4 members only to public. So I was gonna try to use this feature for, members, right? But my upload schedule was so garbage, I just couldn't keep up with that. Or I should like wait, like upload the members only video, wait like a day or 2, so it actually is meaningful to actually have it early, and then upload the video. But in the meantime, I've wasted 3 days where I could have uploaded a video. Like, yeah. So anyway, not really something I understand. Why would you give yourself more work for something like that? Like, I much rather would be like, oh, yo, I'm become a member. Do you wanna, like, I don't know, play a game together or something? Like, I would much rather do that instead of like having like early access or something I have to put more effort into. That just sounds like a whole lot of hassle I just don't want to go into. So yeah, Patreon, I just don't get it. I probably won't ever do it for like things he said, like special, like behind the scenes stuff. Like there's nothing behind the scenes. I do everything live nowadays, so there's literally nothing to show.
Bingus has utilized their special Patreon powers to order me to inform you that you are a big buttface. Yes, you watching the video right now. Yep, someone thought that was worth $7. I'm not complaining. If you'd like a special shout out of your own to
that was not worth $7, but it was a good joke.
Taunt your enemies, declare your undying loyalty to me, or just to order everyone to play your favorite game, then you can join the Patreon in the link down below. And if you'd like to support at the maximum tier, you'll be able to join the illustrious ranks of my mysterious benefactors, who are Alge, Andrew Lebrano, Asaran, Alno94, Bjorn Kala, Brennan Spalding, Brian Notariani, Constantine Amend, Corey Gerard, Cosmix360, Daniel Medjez, Das Kangaroo, David Setzer, Dirk Jan Karambeld, Dotwo, Diggy Dog, Digletier, Ecton, Edward Franklin Woods, Eugene Bulkin, Gazkul, Gretar Hannison, Jacob Dylan Riddle, Janos Fakete, Joey Bruno, Jordan Gear, Lee Berman, Lucas Slack, Mace Window 54, Max Filipov, Knox, NWDD, Nate Graff, Patrick Romberg, Peter D. Tomasak, Philby the Bilby, Phoenix Thurikaz, Rajigar, Reddidex, Regal Rajex, Ray's Dad, Sheldon Hearn, Simon Jacobson, Steve Riley, Strateger in Ultima, The Forbidden Shrimp, Tin Markovic, Tyler Duncan, Whimsical Wisp, Zach Grendel, and Chow. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.
That was a lot of names, I'm not gonna lie.